You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the ropes. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Honey calcite, pyrite crystals, raw rising codes, Archangel series, Archangel Jophael, Archangel Jophael of the yellow golden ray of divine light, come forth into my mind, body, soul complex and sweep with your flaming yellow sword of discerning wisdom. May it cut through the delusions and personal illusions of attachment that are distorting my energy field from being in balance, truth, divine wisdom. May this releasing process restore and recharge my solar plexus and my abilities to take action, move forward, and use my energy for positive upliftment. My creativity and passion is enhancing as I am stepping forward in the power of my free will and aligning it with God's will.
Let thy will be my will be thy will. I sit with myself almost every day. And now I can say to my higher being, let thy will be my will and my will be thy will, because we are wholeness. We're embarked on this journey. We embarked on this journey. We did. My higher being said, I want her. Give her almond-shaped eyes. No, not almond-shaped. A mix of almond-shaped and a mix of big, bright, round eyes, like a deer, like a doe, ready to embark on the unknown. Let her be excited and let her be a little anxious. I want to feel it all. I want that perfect body. But she doesn't have to know perfect. She can just be. So I can feel what growing into perfect is. Because then I'll be recalling the realm of absolute where I came from. Perfect is overrated. So overrated. You don't start out perfect. It's a journey. And then you find out in the physical flesh is overrated. Because as soon as you reach what you think is perfection, you deep dive in to more unperfection. Perfection is not meant to last, if we're going to use that word. And most of us are taught to use that word. We're taught to use that word to describe ourselves, our situations, our circumstances, the people that are around us. But we're not taught that we can change that view of it. We can transform the definition of it so that it becomes a whole different label. That's what we're here to do today. Ra is inviting us in to strip ourselves of perfection and dive in to the okayness of imperfection so that we can grow. We can dive into a knowing of something new and expansive with ourselves so that we can know that it's okay when we have a question. We can sit at the seat of our higher self and ask that question in depth to our higher being and know that sometimes the answers may be uncomfortable, but that's only because our higher being said, yes, I came to learn that. Tell me what that feels like. And then your higher being says, okay, I felt it. You can move on. We don't have to stay here very long. That's all Ra is here to tell you. They're here to give you the cheat codes if you want them, because they, as a planet, as a collective, as we use the word, have done it. And they told the divine that they are the expression of the divine. They told the divine, we want to stay. We want to go back. We know that it would be glorious to merge back with the one true creator, but we got to stay. We want to help them. We want to give them the cheat codes. And guess what? The cheat codes are okay to give. Because the divine said, if that is your intention, let it be so. Marcus, if that is your intention, that you want to co-host with Sandra and bring the law, the law of one and the teachings of Ra to the masses, let it be so. Sandra, if you want to co-host with Marcus, let it be so. And here we are, episode 53? Are you ready? I'm ready. Marcus, are you ready?
Who? Uh-oh.
Is it spinning?
Here we go.
Can you hear us? Can you see us?
Let's try. Okay, so, I really like how you brought up the imperfections. The imperfections have been really coming up lately in the collective. And a spiritual guide or a archetype that you guys can connect with at any time, and it's one of my favorite guides as well, is related directly to owning your flaws, owning your imperfections, but also being able to still be in your power and still move forward with your creativity, to move forward with your passion and your love. Although you have flaws, you make mistakes, you have scars and wounds and all these things that you come across in this human experience. And this being our guide, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a figure of him actually. And I'm sure it's a familiar guy for a lot of you guys. And that guide is, let me put it up on the big. So it's one of the guides from, and the guide is Ganesh. So if you guys are familiar with Ganesh from Hinduism, Ganesh is the elephant spirit guide. And Ganesh, something about Ganesh that I've been really been kind of pushed to share the story of a little bit more is the side and the aspects of Ganesh that are not just about removing obstacles, but the deeper aspects. And the deeper aspect of Ganesh being known as a male figure. Now, of course, this relates to you as male or female, but it's a male figure because it's relating to your masculine energy. So Ganesh in mythology is a male figure, but this male figure has a tense scarring all over his face. So due to that scarring, he created an elephant mask to wear. And the elephant mask was a symbol of, you know, being nurtured, having strength, overcoming your obstacles, being able to be there for family, be there through your pain and through your struggles, and show up for others. Along with that, the mask also has a broken tusk on it. So anytime you see Ganesh, you'll notice that the tusks are broken. And the broken tusks are also representations of your imperfections. So Ganesh also is representing your ability to have inner strength and resilience and courage to step into your power, to share your gifts, to be creative, despite your scars, despite your flaws, despite the things that you deem as, you know, your negative traits. So that's one of the most beautiful things I really have been connecting with lately with our wonderful spirit guide in the Hinduism, Ganesh. And if you guys haven't checked it out yet, I actually just dropped a Hindu meditation with a connection with Yeshua as well that I produced myself, and it's on the YouTube channel, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. And you guys can check that out anytime. Just dropped yesterday, and Ganesh is one of the guys that I connect you with. But yeah, wonderful way to kick off this space today. I love that you brought up, you know, really coming through and stepping through that type of energy and owning that type of energy as well, because it's important in this human journey, because, you know, we're going to go through, you know, shape-shifting moments, and we're going to continue to go through those type of moments. And when I say shape-shifting, I mean like it's really going to make your mind, your emotions, your body change. And that's part of the experience. That's the whole point. And when we can get into that remembrance that that's the whole point, then we kind of step into more of our resilience and natural power and confidence, because we remember that, oh yeah, that's right, I was here to go through obstacles. I'm supposed to do that. Like, that's part of the being human. And I'm not going to always be doing this, so I might as well, love it for what it is. But yeah, thank you guys all for being here. Cozy and episode. And before we get started, I'm gonna take you guys back to last week so you can see where we left off.
Start season to go in, you know those crystal children. Back up in the mix.
Feel it. You get to step into a new now moment. You got a chance to sleep, and sleep gives you reset. Some people believe sleep is a dying, and then when you wake up in the morning, it's a rebirth. You're seeking. Rock can only tell you, we did it. We know you can do it. Pat you on the back and say, get to it. So are you ready? I know.
I have Hape from the Ta family. Hapi. If you guys look, there's a little bit of a unification energy. I believe we mentioned something about unification and union. That will be a catalyst for us to then have the opportunity, with our free will and being an alchemist of energy, to transmute that energy and transcend it. Whatever it is that's triggering us, whatever it is that is holding density and blockages through our being, radiating its divine energies. Man, what an episode. With that being said, episode 52. Over to you.
And I made a mistake. I was ahead of 52. I said 53. Because the consciousness that I see third density from, it just it doesn't keep me in time. I think I'm just so running so forward, right? But that's okay. It's okay. We get to be. That's what we came here to do. We came here to be. The divine said, I created everything so I could seek myself from formless into a point, a focal point of form. And I chose you. I know we all want to be singularly the most important thing in the universe. And guess what? The universe says you are. Over almost 9 billion people. You are. Each one of us are. We came here to express. We came here to be the expressions of the divine, of the one true creator. Think of your hand. Your hand is your hand. It's wholeness. But within the wholeness, you have unique individual expressions called your fingers. Same thing with your feet. The best thing that you can look at to say that's what wholeness is. Your hand. Look at your feet. Your feet. Wholeness. But spread those toes out. Those are unique. They're each a different size. They each do something different to bring wholeness into the package. You're wholeness. You're expressing. Perfection is very overrated. Perfection was created by humankind, and taken out of context. The divine, the one true creator, everything is beautiful because the divine is looking at itself. The divine is not vain. The divine knows that it is all that is and all that is not in one place, outside of duality and time. So let's begin. Here's what happened. I thought I dropped my book and lost my place marker, and I was about to freak out about it. And the divine said, did you think you dropped that on by accident? Nothing is accidental. Open the book to where the book fell, and that's where we're going to start reading. And the I that is me, that you said that I will speak through you and you will speak through me, is about to speak. So let's begin. The questioner simply says, which crystal is that? And that's just where the divine wants to start. The divine doesn't want to go back a paragraph or two. We are going to start right there. I am Ra, the flawed but sufficient crystal which rests upon the digit of the instrument's hand. And the questioner said, would you tell me how to use that crystal for this purpose? Ra says, I am Ra. This is a large question. You first, take the comma, as a mind/body/spirit complex, balance and polarize the self, connecting the inner light with the upper or upward spiraling inpouring of the universal light. You have done exercises to regularize the process involved. Look to them for the preparation of the crystallized being. Then take the crystal and feel your polarized and potentiated, balanced energy channel in green ray healing through your being, going into and activating and crystalline regularity of frozen light, which is crystal. The crystal will resound with the charged light of an incarnated love and light energy. It will begin to radiate in specific fashions, beaming and required light vibration, healing energy, focused and intensified towards the magnetic field of the mind, body, and spirit complex, which is to be healed. This entity requesting such healing will then open the armor of the overall violet ray or red ray protective vibratory shield. Thus, the inner vibratory fields from center to center in mind, body, spirit may be interrupted and adjusted momentarily, thus offering the one to be healed the opportunity to choose a lesser, distorted energy complex of energy fields and vibration or vibratory relationships. The questioner says, should the crystal be held in the right hand of the healer? I am Ra. This is incorrect. There are two recommended configurations. The first, the chain about the neck is to place the crystal in the physical position of the green ray energy center. Second, the chain hung from the right hand, outstretched, wound about the hand in such a way that the crystal may be swung so as to affect sensitive adjustments. We offer this information realizing that much practice is needed to efficiently use these energies of self. However, each has the capacity of doing so. And this information is not this information is not information which, take the comma, if followed accurately, can be deleterious. The questioner says, would an unflawed crystal be considerably more effective than the flawed one that we have now? Ra says, I'm wrong. Without attempting to deem the priorities you may choose, we may note that the regularized and crystallized entity in its configuration is as critical as the perfection of the crystal used. The questioner says, does the physical size of the crystal have any relationship to the effectiveness in healing? I am wrong. In some applications concerning planetary healing, this is a consideration. In working with an individual mind, body, spirit complex, the only requirement is that the crystal be in harmony with the crystallized being. There is perhaps a lower limit to the size of what you may call a faceted crystal. For light coming through this crystal needs to be spread the complete width of the spectrum of the one to be healed. Then the questioner says, placing the end of this pencil in my hand, would the point of it then represent the place where the crystal should hang for a proper green ray? Is this position correct? I am wrong. We attempt your measurements from 2 to 5.4 centimeters towards your heart is optimal. And the divine wants me to stop there. The divine is saying that in your perfection, you can't get it perfect, but you can get it close. The crystal is important, but your embodiment is more important. It's called collaboration. You collaborate with the crystal. You become one. It's balanced energy. Energy from the instruments that the divine gave you in the duality realm, or what you might call the earthly realm, and the power of the tools that you already have within you. Back to you, Marcus. What you think? What you intend?
I think it's not even showing on the, but I'm looking live and I'm on the screen. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, wow, such a good topic point, because this really goes with anything in life that we do, anything that we exchange our energy field with or our mentalism with. Perception, the perception of how it is that we are relating. And when I say relating, how it is that we're kind of mentally choosing to tell ourselves or allow ourselves to be experiencing something as an energy or a form or expression. It goes a long way. And what I mean by this is, there's always going to be like a expansive, unlimited amount of numbers of possibilities of how we can choose to perceive a experience. And that just comes down to us, comes down to our own self and being accountable for our own mental container and what it is that we're choosing to start ingraining into our psyche as our stories. And there's no right or wrong to it. It just is, in a way. It's like nobody's really falling victim, or nobody's really like better than anybody else. We're just all these, ever flowing and ever changing beings. And again, like in the beginning, coming to that acceptance that we're ever changing. Like that's one of the things that they say you can say is like part of life is that everything is subject to change. So if everything is subject to change, then that means we are subject to change. If everything is. And the more that we can allow that truth to kind of permeate through us, then we're able to not necessarily, escape or run away or turn our head from the reality of life, but we're able to kind of submerge ourselves into it. And when I say submerge ourselves into it, basically you surrender so deeply into it that you remember that you are it and that you're not separate from it whatsoever, and that you are the source itself from the beginning anyway, and you always will be, and then you will be after this body, and you already are after this body, waiting to become aware of yourself. And then until you get there, you get to have free will here and experience things in these moments of the present. So, the more that you just become more present and just realize all this stuff and really become aware of these mechanics, these ways of how energy and how these channeled messages in these books, we can really just become more of what we call an alchemist. And that naturally in our mind, our mindset, then we just realize that we're going to experience the full spectrum of life day in and day out. Like this is what we're here for. As they say back in the Egyptian proverb, ain't nothing new under the sun. Like we came here to experience darkness. We came here to experience light. And this is what we do every day. So last thing I gotta say is just like deep acceptance and deep surrendering in the fashion that I was speaking on. Not in the way of escaping, not in the way of bypassing, but just knowing that there is no power outside of you, and that power inside of you is empowering every single thing. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Back to you.
Exactly. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. I'm going to say it again. Enjoy your ride, your journey. It's you are this body and this mind that your higher being put itself in, and it is like, take me, right? I saw a commercial, and I can't remember the name of the new like you have Lyft and you have Uber, and they've got a new one where the car drives itself. And the gentleman is taking his mom, or I don't know, maybe mom or grandma, for the first ride in it. Right? And she's getting in, him and her are getting into the back seat of this car. And it's new to her. And she's sitting and she's going, what? And he's telling her what the name of it is, and how the car has sensory things on the side, but her eyes are so big, like a deer in headlights, right? I love how they did this commercial, because it took me to the expansiveness of change and the wildness of it, the deep dive into it, and you're going, what? As you're diving into it and you're seeing something new, and you're and surrendering to it allows you to become the next version of yourself in this newness. So Ra being here, giving us this depth, is don't go and be there. Take what you're learning and be here now in your presence, not in mine. Ross says we've done it. We've just come here to give you the cheat codes and to share them with you, and you take it where you need to take it. So your higher being, was implanted itself. It knew that it was going to have amnesia. It knew it was going to be veiled, but it wanted to play anyway. My higher being said, I wanted to come play, and I chose you, Sandee. I chose you in all the imperfections that you would actually dive into and, like Play-Doh, build with. Some of you might not remember Play-Doh, right, but I do.
Can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Go ahead.
So I just want to share this real quick because we brought that up. And, something that had came through to me a while ago when I started learning about my past life regression. Oftentimes with past life regression, we'll get very fascinated as human beings with wanting to become that past version again, or become that past. And, what came through to me was, when learning about past, quote unquote, past things, try not to get attached to that time period and wanting to become that time period or become that time period again. Because what happens is you take yourself out of the present and you then put yourself in something that's not happening in the present or going to be happening moving forward. And then that can kind of take your consciousness and put it in a place where it can then bring imbalances for you in the present. So what I got from it was, if we are going to study the past or go into past things, it's like we mentally travel there and then take in the information of that and then mentally bring that back to your body and then bring it into the present. Now, whatever it may be that you need to draw from that past, that's going to be authentic to you. But for instance, say you find out that you had a past life as a really great leader or like a pharaoh of a great positive dynasty, and you want to kind of be like that again, so to say, quote unquote. So instead of trying to physically become like a pharaoh back 3,000 years ago, in a time period that was meant for 3,000 years ago, what we want to do is we want to kind of study the character, study the avatar, study the archetype, and then kind of mentally draw in the codes or the traits, the principles, the characteristics that allowed them to embody such a great form, so to say. And then what you can do is you can energetically and mentally take that in, and then you can embody that through your chakras and through your light body. And then you integrate that into your physical world in the modern time. And then you can bring those traits and basically infuse them into this modern time so it can be used for its purpose in the best way in this current life. It's like a really deep thing that came to me. And, it kind of just falls right in line with what you were just talking about with Ra, is just like, don't get too caught up in trying to be like somebody else or be like Jesus or be like Buddha. Like, try to take in what they did in order to get to how they got, and then implement it into you in your personal life, and then see how that can then enhance your life so you can embody something similar to them, but in your own unique way.
Exactly. Because you have been gifted with the ability for your soul or your higher being to share with you parts of itself or parts of its expression of itself. It brings that information, it shares that information so that you can find what you need to rectify a situation or a circumstance in your now. Or just like Marcus said, you get to find attributes of that individual expression of your higher being someone else in a different timeline that might be able to help you say, oh, I would love those type of attributes, so that you can vibrationally stand in that moment, and the universe can say, oh, you want to be like that. Let that be so. But there are a lot of individuals that go, it's not bad to have a past life regression, but there are a lot of people that want to stay there. There are a lot of people that want to change the past life regression of that higher being so that they can change all of what's going on in their now moment. And then guess what they want to do? When it doesn't reflect correctly, then they say, I call back my power from everywhere, every place. But the divine says, that was you in another realm or another version. That was you in a different version, in a different past life. Do you have the right to call back that energy of that higher being and that expression of you? Think about it. But the divine says, if you want to do that, let it be so. If you want to upset those timelines, the divine says, I can do nothing but say yes to you. Go ahead and do it. The divine will never say no to you. And I bring up to you again, we've talked about this before, the original Jurassic Park. When they were sitting in their little conference room having dinner or whatever they were having, and they were talking about what the great things that they had did by creating these dinosaurs, bringing them back into the 21st century along with mankind. And Jeff Goldblum's character said, you were so busy being excited that you never asked yourself, should you? You never discerned what would be the consequences of that. Now, yes, it may be a fanciful movie, but that vibrationally shook me, because we were given all these gifts and we were given the ability to discern, but we chose not to discern it before we used it, and then we get pissed when it doesn't work out for our highest and greatest good. And then guess what? We're taught to blame others for why it doesn't work. And I just went, shh. So the Ra says, or the questioner says, we're moving on. The questioner says, am I correct in assuming that what I am to do is to dangle a weight approximately 2 feet below my hand and place it over the body, and when the weight starts moving in a clockwise rotational direction, it would indicate an unblocked energy center? Is this correct? We're talking about energy centers now. And the divine wants me to let you know, counterclockwise is how your energy centers flow. We are taught, like a clock, to go this way, but our energy centers flow counterclockwise. We are taught that everything is linear, but the flow of the divine, the flow of energy is to our center that is called our ego. Flowing this is confusion. Flowing like this, there's no confusion there. There is no unknown in a straight line. Counterclockwise, there's full of the unknown, full of how energy attracts itself to itself through you. Ross says the measurement from hand to weight is unimportant and at your discretion. The circular motion shows an unblocked energy center. However, some entities are polarized, the reverse of the others, and therefore it is well to test the form of normal energy spirals before beginning the procedure. Before beginning the procedure, because not everybody is the same. Energy isn't flowing through people. There is no particular guideline, like doctors. They do all these tests, and they have a certain ray of people come in. I say ray because the divine is saying ray of people that come in that are unique, that they're going to do their test on, and then they put these individuals in certain categories, and they say, well, if this person is Black, they have a tendency to have high blood pressure. If they're old and Black, they have a high tendency for this or for that or whatnot. But it doesn't stress the wholeness of everyone. It doesn't mean that Marcus, because he's Black, and when he gets older, he's going to have high blood pressure. No, because Marcus could have a whole different way of utilizing his life expectancy. He will be different. He will be unique. He will not fall into that group. So the Ra is saying you have to seek out what is unique about the individual, how they are how their chakras are spinning. Some spin counterclockwise. Some spin clockwise. Start there. Find out why. If they're spinning clockwise, you don't get to say they're broken. You get to ask a embodying question to that person to find out more. And then you get to make a quote unquote diagnosis of how you're going to hold space with the crystals that you're using, or with the tools that you're learning to use now. You don't get to decide for the individual how they should heal, because they have to embody themselves in part of that healing. Look at that. Look at that diagram. Some are flowing clockwise. Some are flowing counterclockwise. Look at that diagram. Ross says, the circular motion shows an unblocked energy center. However, some entities are polarized the reverse of others, and therefore it is well to test the form of normal energy spirals before beginning the procedure. The questioner says, how would you test? Raw. Test is done by first holding the weight over your own hand and observing your particular configuration. Then, using the other self hand, repeat the procedure. And the divine gave me an example. When you go to do a podcast, when you go to sing a song, when you go to play music with a mic in a concert, you do a mic check. You turn the mic on and you say, check, check, 1, 2, 3, check, check. You check it. Not just somebody else could have checked it and said, oh, those levels sound great. But you, the artist, goes up on that stage, put your mic where you know you're going to be when you do your concert, and then you say, sound check, please. And you check it, right? So you've had it checked from someone else who thought that the sound levels were great. And then you check it and you say, oh, I think this is a little bit too high or a little bit too low, or we need a little bit more reverberation or something like that. I'm not a vocal artist, but I've seen it done at when they do TV shows about artists and leading up to their concerts. So Ra is saying that you test it first. The questioner says, in the case of the instrument, the one that is Ra is channeling through, are we concerned with the healing of the wrist and hands? Would I then test the energy centers of the instrument's wrist and hands? Is this correct? I am Ra. We have given you general information regarding this form of healing and have explicated the instrument's condition. There is a line between which information is an intrusion upon the law of confusion. Oh, did you hear what he said? He said, you're coming back to us again, asking this question because you're confused about it. The law of confusion. You know, this is the first time I've read this book. This is the first time that it's like zoomed out to me. Law of confusion. I haven't read about that one before. I've seen it, but I haven't really taken it in. The questioner says, I would like to trace the energy patterns and what is actually happening in these patterns and flow of energy in a couple of instances. I would first take the pyramid shape and trace the energy that is focused somehow by this shape. I will make a statement and let you correct it. I think that the pyramid can be in any orientation and provide some focusing of spiraling energy, but the greatest focus of it occurs when one side of it is precisely parallel to magnetic north. Is this correct? So he's back to pyramids again. All right. And Ra says, I am Ra. This is substantially correct with one addition. If one corner is orientated to the magnetic north, the energy will be enhanced in its focus also. The questioner says, do you mean that if I draw or drew a line through two opposite corners of the pyramid at the base and aimed that at magnetic north, that would be precisely 45 degrees out of the orientation of one side aimed at a magnetic north? That it would work just as well? Is that what you are saying? I am Ra. It would work much better than if the pyramid shape were quite unaligned. It would not work quite as efficiently as the aforementioned configurations. So Ra is just saying you have infinite possibilities. We are saying what worked for us in that configuration. You asked me. That's what Ra is saying. You asked. The questioner says, would the pyramid shape work just as well right side up as upside down with respect to the surface of the earth, assuming the magnetic alignment was the same in both cases? I am Ra. We do not penetrate your query. The reverse shape of the pyramid reverses the effects of the pyramid. Further, it is difficult to build such a structure upside down. Perhaps we have misinterpreted your query. Ra said, we built it exactly the way it was supposed to work. The questioner says, I use this question only to understand the way the pyramid focuses light, not for the purpose of using one. I was just saying, if we did build a pyramid upside down, would it focus at the queen's chamber position or just below it, the same way as if it was right side up? I'm wrong. It would only work thusly if an entity the divine told me to slow my roll because Ra is just getting real with the questioner, right? Okay. Ra says,
yeah, this is getting good.
Yeah. Ra is saying it would only work thusly if the entity's polarity were, take the comma, for some reason reversed. So Ra is taking the questioner back to you finding out what's going on with the entity and its healing. You get to find out if the entity is the energy of the entity is upside down, and if you have to utilize the pyramid upside down. But as to right now, the pyramids haven't been built upside down. Ra goes back to, we built them back then the way that the energy was supposed to be used. It doesn't mean that there isn't infinite possibilities of using it differently. That's your, he's saying for human consumption, that's your discernment. What you think about that, Marcus?
Wow, that just said something really loud to me. I don't know what that was, but what came through me, and this is for anybody, just take it or leave it, however it comes through, is this is deep. So I've kind of heard like subliminal messages kind of along this line a little bit. But when we learn that, everything in the universe is mental, then that means we all have our own individual mental universe that we're experiencing with our being. And with that being said, kind of going back to the beginning, we all have our own perspective of where we're vibrating and perceiving. So with that being said, what I'm kind of really getting from this is it's not so much about the world being inverted or the world being in reverse or the world being anything. It's more so that creation in the world is already in its perfect state of all dimensions parallel. And you get to experience any of those dimensions depending upon the natural selection of where your vibration is at. It's not really like up to you, so to say. It's where your vibration is where you're vibrating and where you're perceiving. So it's not really like a want, it's something that is. So with that being said, if we are perceiving that things seem like they're in reverse or that things are inverted, then and I think what I'm getting is that it's not that the world exactly is reversed. I want to make sure this is coming through, okay? Because I thought I was freezing a little bit there. It's more so that we are, due to where our mental vibration and perception is, it's reflecting out to us due to where it is reversed. It's them perceiving and magnetizing to us, which Ra talked about, the magnetism. It's magnetizing into our perception the version of the earth that is available for you to experience that is inverted and in reverse, but it's also not the actual whole entire spectrum of what earth is. So again, I'm gonna kind of rewind that a little bit for you guys. So what I'm getting from this is basically that the world is a full spectrum, multi-dimensional multiverse, and it's already created to experience. So like these realms are here for us to fluctuate through, basically, and it just continues, soul after soul, wave after wave. And where our mental vibration is as the time travelers of time and space with these beings that we have, we mentally vibrate our being into the dimensional realm of experience that we are mentally vibrating at. So with that being said, if we have the perception that everything is in reverse and it's inverted, and that's how we're experiencing things, then that means we may need to take a look at where our own inner mental perception is at, and ourself into a inverted or reversed version of the world. And now all we have to do is just convert our mental perception to wholeness and balance. And it's up to us to do that. We do it at our own pace. We do it at our own rate. We do it or we don't do it. That's all at your own free will. And it's where we're at. You know, it's the wild, wild west out here in the earth. Like, it's up to you and where you're going to perceive and experience your reality.
Wild,
Wow.
Wild West. The Wild, Wild West. Come on. You know, I'm
The wild, wild
just saying,
west.
yeah, you know, and I love how you said that this duality called Earth consciousness took a foreign body and descended into 3D and took on layers of quantum energy that's going to create for us, that has created us in a past, us in a present moment, us in a present future moment, the next version of us that we can step into. There's layers that are inverted. There's layers that are linear. There's layers that are extraneous. There's layers that's totally quantum, that you free flow in, and free flow in where you say, well, you know, in my dream, I wasn't even walking on the ground. I was hovering above it as I was moving. And these are all versions of a reality, no reality, depending on if that's what we want to make it. We are Ra is simply saying the one true creator is seeking itself. It threw itself out into the unknown of itself. And when it like having a fishing line, when it reeled back versions of itself that said, I want to seek myself at a fixed point, because in the realm of absolute, there is no fixed point. There just is, capital IS. Not to say that in that isness, the divine doesn't have a version of itself in formless, in form, in formless, in the absolute. It's just, it sees itself through different conscious lens. And it wanted to see itself as a different form in a different, from a different lens. That's all Ra is saying. So Ra is telling the questioner, you can build there's a version of you that has built the pyramid upside down. You know, we built it one way, and we're telling you the way that we built it 12,000 years ago. That's all right. Ra is quite funny. Ra is quite sarcastic in his, like, you know, you keep asking that question over and over again, using different words, thinking that we don't understand that you're asking the same question. Are you testing us? Right? Ra is saying, we bring it back to the vibration of the entity, that human being that needs healing, saying that discern where that entity needs healing, and then go figure out how to use it. We've given you all the tools. We've told you that you have the tools within you. We told you that you don't need, in their first book, you don't need pyramids anymore, because you have ascended to being able to have those healing qualities in you, because now you know that you have your chakras. I love this. This is what the divine broke it down to me. But Ra says, you know, go back to your entity. You can build it upside down if you want. And if the entity needs it upside down, it will work for them. But I think Ra is saying, go ahead and build the pyramid. You're already trying to figure out how we did it anyway.
It's also one of those things too, where it's like, you know, keep on mentally telling yourself that and see what that does to your chemistry too.
Right. So the questioner goes, the questioner says, then the lines of the spiraling light energy, do they originate from a position towards the center of the earth and radiate outward toward from that point? This is a good question. Ra says, I am Ra. The pyramid shape is a collector which draws the in-streaming energy from what you would learn or have a term for the bottom or base, and allows the energy to spiral upward in a line with the apex of the shape. This is also true if a pyramid shape is upended. The energy is not earth energy, as we understand your question, but is light energy, which is, are you ready for it? Omnipresent. Ooh. The questioner says, does it matter if the pyramid is solid or is made of thin sides, or is there a difference in effect between those two makes? I am Ra. As an energy collector, the shape itself is the only requirement. From the standpoint of the practical needs of your body complexes, if one is to house oneself in such a shape, it is well that this shape be solid-sided in order to avoid being inundated by outer stimuli. The divine just said to me, and why do we live in boxes, in cubes, in squares? You live in apartment buildings. You've got stimuli coming from everything, coming through the walls. So basically, Ra is saying, yeah, shape matters. The questioner then says, if I just used a wire frame that was 4 pieces of wire joined at the apex running down to the base, and the pyramid was totally open, this would do the same thing to the spiraling light energy. Is this correct? I am Ra. The concept of the frame is equal to the solid form is correct. However, there are many metals not recommended for use in pyramid shapes designed to aid the meditative process. Those that are recommended are in your system of barter, what you call expensive. The wood and other natural materials or the man-made plastic rods would also be of service. The questioner says, why is the spiraling light focused by something as open and simple as 4 wooden rods joined at an apex angle? I am Ra. If you picture light in the metaphysical sense as water and the pyramid shape as a funnel, this concept might become self-evident. Back to you, Marcus. I know you're having a field day, over there going, ooh. Let me tell you.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. Especially all this crystal talk about chakras. It's like, crystals and chakras, that's some of my main stuff right there, because For everybody out there that doesn't know yet, I am crystal healing certified. I have my CHH, and I know the ins and outs of what crystals are. I teach workshops about them. I also help people understand how to relate with them and how to use them consciously as other conscious beings, other conscious forms, because that's what not just chakras, but that's what crystals are. Crystals are conscious beings, and they may not be as conscious with a body of the capabilities of a human, but they're conscious in a lower dimensional body than a third dimensional human when it comes to this earth. So with that, they just don't have as many capabilities of what they can do as a self when on this earth plane. But there's a spiritual being that's, etheric, energetic, mental being that is consciousness behind crystals. And we can bypass the physicality of the crystal. And of course, this is mental again, this is with our mind. And we can bypass that physicality of the crystal and mentally interact and connect with the spiritual energy of that crystal. And then that's when you kind of are in a more conscious relationship. And not only with crystals, but with all crystalline beings, because we're all crystals as well. And that's more of like a crystal with a K, so to say. And we're crystalline because we have different, crystal compounds within us. A lot of our glands, our organs are crystalline. We have crystal plates inside of our brain that are all connected to the earth, and they have magnetism and radiance, and it's just part of our function. It's what we are. We're energetic, electrical, elemental, and magnetic beings, and we have all sorts of different things that configure us. And the more we study and deep dive these different elements of ourselves, we can really become more of that video game player where you're kind of checking out the different attributes and the characteristics and all the fun traits and wonderful things that you came here to do with this being that you have. And it also helps you kind of step into the a little bit higher dimensions of perception, because you're no longer just seeing yourself as a victim that's just shrinking down in this human body that just is helpless and has no purpose and all these different things. You just really start to be in that embodiment and remembrance mentally that you're on this journey and you're perceiving as a human being, but you're also at the same time many other things. And you can actually consciously, through your mind, go experience as that thing or another form mentally, while also having this body to come back to. And we do this through lucid dreaming, we do this through astral projection, we do this through remote viewing, past life regression, Akashic record therapies, all sorts of different things. This is how we get into those states, and this is how we access those other conscious awarenesses of ourselves. And it's a very normal, natural thing of who we are. And the more we continue on in this journey on this earth, I feel like more of us are just going to naturally come back into this awareness, and that kind of veil of forgetfulness that we go through in these lower dimensions will start to dissipate more and more, and we'll just continue to naturally vibrate a little bit higher. And through that vibration that we continue to rise with, we'll just naturally become more clear and more adapted to our abilities. And it's a beautiful thing, I gotta say. It's a very beautiful thing.
It's a very beautiful
And if
thing.
anybody ever needs like And if anybody ever needs like some assistance or guidance, you can always reach out to myself. You can reach out to Sandee. And, we got communities of wonderful folks that can help out as well.
Exactly. So I'm going to read one more thing and Ra's response to it. The questioner says, I am trying to understand the way light works, and I am trying to get a grasp on how energy. No, I'm going to start over again. I'm going to slow my roll. The questioner says, I am trying to understand the way light works, and I am trying to get a grasp of how everything works together. And I was hoping that a question on the pyramids would help me understand the third distortion, which is light. As I understand it, the pyramid shape acts as a funnel, increasing the density of energy so that the individual may have a greater intensity of actually the third distortion. Is this correct? I am Ra. In general, this is correct. The questioner says, then the pure crystalline shape, such as the diamond you mentioned as being frozen light, it seems that this third density physical manifestation of light is how a window of or focusing mechanism of the third distortion in a general sense. Is this correct? I am Ra. This is basically correct. However, it may be noted that only the will of the crystallized entity, there it is, may cause interdimensional light to flow through the material. The more regularized the entity and the more regularized the crystal, the more profound the effect. The questioner says, there are many people who are now bending metal, doing other things like that by mentally requesting this action or this to happen. What is happening in this case? So number one, in order to use a crystallized version of energy, a frozen version, which a lot of people have different various stones, using the diamond stone, you have to be embodying the diamond as well as the diamond embodying you. Is that an easier way to say it? Does that make sense? The divine says you have to embody the stones that you're using, the crystals that you're using, some more than others, but embodying them means that you bring yourself to the offering of your healing and take advantage of your vibration within you and collaborate with the vibration of the entity of the stones, the consciousness of the stones. It's a collaboration. You work together with it. And if you want to put the third side to it, the person that you have called to hold space for you, there's your triangle. The stone, you, and the person holding the space. If you call Marcus to hold space for you, he's part of that triangle. He's part of that pyramid. If you call me, I'm part of that pyramid. I can't heal you, but I can hold space. I can be part of that vibrational triune that you want to heal yourself, but you bring it. You bring it. You embody it. You're part of that collaboration. So he's talking about bending metal and doing other things by simply mentally requesting this to happen. Ra says, I am Ra. That which occurs in the instant in this instant may be likened to the influence of the second spiral of light in a pyramid being used by an entity. As the second spiral ends at the apex, the light may be likened unto a laser beam in the metaphysical sense, and when intelligently directed, may cause bending not only in the pyramid, but this is the type of energy which is tapped into by those capable of this forcing of the upward spiraling light. This is made possible through contact in the indigo ray, which is intelligence center. This is a process of energy. Where are you at? Are you there yet? Is it an infinite possibility to you? The divine is already telling you, you don't have to have a pyramid structure, though you can be inside one. You can have one that's made up of elements of crystal in the shape. You can just be part of the shape of the triangle, the energy of the crystal, your energy of your embodiment, and someone holding space for you. You can do all sorts of things with it. You can increase your energy level. It's up to you. I know, as we said, the indigo ray, Marcus is probably quivering in his seat as we close with this. Back to you, Marcus.
The indigo ray. Okay. So, was it the indigo or violet?
Indigo. Indigo.
Okay.
Indigo is the heart ray.
So
right?
the indigo ray.
Is that the heart?
Oh no, green is the heart. Indigo is going to be the third eye chakra.
Ah, okay. Well, that even makes more sense.
Yep. So our indigo chakra is our third eye chakra, and this is also, basically one of the closest to the top, which means it's also going to be one of the higher frequency chakras of the 7 chakras, connecting us to the higher dimensional realms. So with that being said, some of the main traits of the third eye center is that it is indigo colored due to the vibration of it. And then due to that vibration, it connects you to divine insight and divine wisdom that goes beyond the physical world. It also helps you be able to have a balanced perception through duality, so that you're able to see through duality and see the wholeness of life through your experiences and daily interactions. And if you have, programming that's not aligned with that, then that's where blockages and imbalances start to manifest through the third eye. So if we're having, negative thought patterns, we're having inverted or reversed perceptions programmed in our mind, then those are going to cause distortions in the third eye chakra wheel rotation. Going back to Ra talk and the way that Ra was describing the chakras, those wheel rotations won't be able to rotate correctly if we have these manifested densities and mental and emotional patterns taking place that can cause imbalances to take place in the rotations of our energy centers. Those energy centers are helping move the Kundalini, the divine energy, the consciousness through you. So if that consciousness is not able to move through you, then it's going to be very difficult for you to live a conscious life. And then your lower natures are going to take over. Your shadows are going to take over. The polarities of the world are going to take over until we get ourselves correct. And we'll go through experiences time after time to give us divine opportunity to correct ourselves. And it'll be up to nobody but our own self the whole time. And we'll get clue after clue, flag after flag, shake up after shake up. But it's all divine opportunity. And the more that we continue to take ownership, take accountability of our mind, body, soul complex as an individual, not you for me, not me for you, then that's when you really start to see and feel and embody more of that seamless simplicity that is cemented all throughout creation, available for us at any moment to experience. The ultimate presence of being present. It's there. And it's ready to be uncovered.
Uncovered. Unknown. Making the unknown known. Right? And the Ra is spending their time, how can we say? The divine wants me to say grooming us with their knowledge of what, because they've already done it. And the grooming is like going into a dressmaker or into a tailor and putting yourself up there on that stand and then saying, create me. And then sending all your energy out to the dressmaker, and the dressmaker just feels you. That's the quantum energy. It's feeling you. You already have every tool within you. Ra is just helping you to understand how to use them and how you make the power flow through them, and how your choices move you to your next destination in your creation of you. That's all the grooming is. Ra says, everything Ra says in all their books that are shared with us is they say it in such a way that they cannot or will not usurp your free will to make choices. They don't give you any of this information through fear. They share it through unconditional love from the one true creator. And then remind you that you are the one true creator. So there are individuals that have ascended into their third eye, that conscious level of intuition, and they can bend light, and they can bend metal, and they can continuously heal themselves, and they can share so much energy that they can help you heal you. Did you hear that word? Help you heal you. As Joshua told the individual that he healed, and the individual said, I am healed, and wanted to put it all on Joshua, Joshua told the individual, go home and tell no one. Because Joshua knew the power of energy, the power of other people's energy to siphon your energy and knowledge of your health and wealth and well-being. And Joshua said, go home, tell no one. Enjoy your health. Enjoy your healing. Close your door. Don't tell anybody. Don't give them the opportunity to use their energy of perspection and take that from you. And the only way they can take it from you is if you open yourself up to it. You are a powerful being. I remember the first time the divine actually sat with me and said, you are made up of stars, the energy of a star, clothed in your humanness. When I came out of that conversation with the divine, I felt my whole body shifting. I felt every cell of my body through all the pores of my skin vibrating. I thought I was going to fly. At that point, I probably bent some light. For me, you take what resonates for you. If you can believe that as fantasy, the divine says believe it as fantasy. But if you're vibrating constantly in that fantasy, the universe is going to say, your wish is my command. I'm going to give it to you. I have no recourse but to take your fantasy and make it real for you. So if you're watching other people bend light and that excites you, you're watching those fantasy movies, watching people bend light, you're watching the Arrow, do his thing, and the Flash do their thing, and the Avengers do their thing, moving all this energy, even if it's fanciful, but that's where you're vibrating. You have no other recourse for your third eye to open up and start vibrating, and you start moving things and moving shit and going, shit, how did that happen? People would be calling you lucky. Oh, he's so lucky. But all you had to do was think about it. All you had to do is walk into a grocery store with the lines all backed up. Look at a cash register that's empty. Look at it and say, I want to be over there. And all of a sudden somebody walks up, opens the cash register and points at you and says, next. I'm going to tell you, I had that happen. Blew my mind. I said, that's how powerful I am. In this, that's my higher being showing off to me in this physical body with this gorgeous mind. And I go, I want to do that again. And when that happened, I was not in depth and deep into chakras or pyramids. I knew about crystals. I would carry certain crystals with me. And all Ra is saying is, we're giving you the cheat codes. You get to use them or not. You get to believe in them or not. You get to believe in these books. You get to believe in channeling or not. Some people say channeling, oh, that's a little bit of hocus pocus. Right? It's okay. What the divine creator is saying, I'm going to be you regardless of whether you believe in me or whether you're moving through me or whether you're moving with me. I'm still going to be here for you. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Whew. Thank you. That was a channel. Woo.
Wow.
52 episodes. That's intention. That's intention. And we're on book 3.
And I gotta say, it's definitely something of the will of the higher self, because this it just fell in our laps naturally.
It was nothing that the Creator made us do. We had that intention there. We hadn't talked about it to each other. We may have mentioned it, when we were doing different lives and whatnot, but it wasn't the primary.
Yeah.
But the divine said, I'm going to offer this to you. You take it or you leave it. It's okay. But it was at the right time, in the right place, in the right moment for it to just unfold. Intention plus your energy manifests or creates. I used to always ask my different pastors and stuff, if the universe was created by God, right? Is God still creating the universe? Oh no, God rested on the seventh day. I'm not making haha about them, but that's the way I took it in when I was a kid. But I could see things that didn't make sense from what they were teaching me, because the universe was still expanding and creating itself. Well, if it's still expanding and creating itself, then when the Creator created us, we're still expanding and creating ourselves. Change is the only constant in all of the universe. Well, change is the only constant in all of the universe because change helps us create more of ourselves. It's a catalyst. It says, are you ready to move again? Are you ready to dive in? Are you ready for more unknown? Hence, ascending beyond limitations. Are you ready to go beyond? Don't worry, I'll hold your hand. I know it's a little scary. That's the divine moving in, through, and as you. Saying to Sandee, I know sometimes you feel alone, because sometimes I do. But it's not lonely. It's not a lonely feeling. Sometimes I feel alone in the next evolutionary step. It's natural to do that. But then my higher being taps into me, and the Creator that moves in, through, and as me says, Sandee, I got you. I got you. And with that, I close. I have a phone call that I do have to make at 12:30. So I wish I could stay longer. But the divine wants you to know, the divine Creator, the one true Creator that Ra represents every time we read a paragraph in any book that has been written or even rewritten and shared by other authors, is that the one true Creator has got you. You are not alone in this journey of recreating yourself, of the unknown. Just be you, authentically you, and then go create. If it doesn't work out, surrender it, give it back to the universe. All it is energy, and then create something else. Now that's mind play. Back to you, Marcus.
Ashe, ashe. Well said. Thank you so much, Sandee, for another wonderful episode of co-hosting as we ascend beyond our limitations and study this wonderful text of the raw material, Law of One. And I just really loved all the crystal and crystalline being talk that we had today, because I feel like, you know, as days go by on this earth, we're continuing more and more to either become more aware or embody this crystalline state that we are studying here through Ra. And it's a really beautiful thing to see, especially just the text and the timelessness of the guidance and seeing the relation of it in this present time, and then the relation to our own self as individual and how we can apply it to kind of maximize and optimize our daily experiences. Like, wow, how beautiful. I'm really grateful. And thank you to everybody out there that's tapped in and tuned in. And thank you guys that comment, continue to follow, and share that love. And if you guys haven't yet, feel free to subscribe, follow us, share this, like it, get those algorithms up for us if you can. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. And for all of you guys out there, we'll see you next week. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night if you guys will be tapping in for the nightcap. And if you guys stay put for the end, I'm going to be playing a couple of highlights from my Hindu Yeshua Gold Rose Codes meditation that you guys can listen to now on the YouTube channel, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. And we'll see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time. Yeah. Take care.
And then rising above from this golden egg, entering our field, playing their divine alchemical flutes of healing and transformation is Krishna, the wonderful guide being, this warmth, this primordial golden Christ energy, submerging our biofield, cellular system, and beyond, in Brahma's golden light, parallel to Shiva, Shakti, the divine feminine, the goddess, reflects in our consciousness and begins to restore